For coming to my channel. I am Jackie Horton, your wellness and health specialist. I am here to promote wellness and good health.
The real you is breathing down your neck, begging you to manifest. It's got to be a lifestyle change. When you shift your paradigm, when you shift your thinking, only then what you see in your head, you will hold in your hand.
Hi, thank you for joining me today. Welcome to my channel. I am Jackie Horton, your virtual wellness and health specialist. Today is the Village Circle, and this is what we normally do on Fridays. Sorry that it's taping today, but it is where we dive into our Village Circle. This is a supportive place for us to talk about topics surrounding our healthy Village Circle and for you all as the village to connect with each other. This is a place for open and honest discussion on topics that impact our mental, physical, and emotional spirits. So thank you for joining me again today. So I want to just take a general statement and hear back from you what you think. Do you think that we have balanced our society by having this all-inclusive mindset? And if you think so, let me know. If you do not, let me know that as well. Because what I'm finding in my small circles about this whole all-inclusive mindset is that it's starting to bring about more division, animosity, and lack of accountability. It's almost as if your small circles are so great that they're greater than the larger community, which is the United States, that it becomes so emotionally driven and you become so emotionally invested that there's almost blinders on, like as understanding your impact on this type of thinking and behaving. So I kind of want us to think about this whole idea of all-inclusiveness, all-inclusivity, and does that mean everything goes, or does that mean that we learn how to be inclusive where no community is rejected or ostracized, but we still have to take everything that that community represents? And I think that's where we have to talk about this as being balanced, because one community's way or approach may not be comfortable for another community. And the way that it should be discussed is as if it should be discussed in a way where there is a understanding that there has to be some some safetyness. There has to be some human respect and regard, and there has to be some transparency around, how does this work for the other? Because if there's any community that's pushing his or her community in a way into spaces that are not welcoming, then that's a discussion. That's a discussion that needs to be worked through and worked on. I mean, given the civil rights movement, I mean, that was not just one event and we was like, all right, we're going to start talking together and eating lunch at the same place. We're going to take down white only signs because guess what? There's love in the air. Jesus is real. No, it took some time. It took marches. It took, people getting water hosed and it took people going to jail, lynching, and so on and so forth. And so over time, we are seeing the evidence of that the threat that was seen during that time really actually was a little bit emotional, not a little, a lot emotionally driven. And it kept us stagnant in the larger world. And I mean, not us, meaning one group, but us as Americans stagnant. I'm sorry, I'm moving this camera. So it takes time, but we have to have these real topics, and we have to have these real talks as well. And so I'm kind of thinking about, what I had talked about last week with the trans community. And the reason that I'm bringing this up, because in smaller circles, these discussions are very real, particularly for women and for girls who are finding that, they are competing with biological males for things that, are things that were supposed to be for girls who are equivalent to them. Okay. And I think with the trans women who are biological males who've been diagnosed or been stated to have gender dysphoria, is that, and I'm not saying all of them, because I do know some trans people, and I do know people from the community. There's this small group that is pushing for a new paradigm that is really driven by emotions, and it's by their emotions, and it is creating that unsafe, attacked, and intimidated experience for women and females. And like I said, think about the civil rights movement as an example. I don't think we ever saw a situation where dogs were mauling a white person because he can go eat at the establishment that was owned by white people. So we do know violence and attacking and intimidating doesn't work. And it was this movement was won through love and patience and perseverance and the connection from the greater community. There were plenty of people who came together to move this society towards a population of African descent people to a more civil society. So thinking about that, just hear that out. What are your thoughts about this all-inclusive nature that we're sort of taking in? And it's like, well, now because I'm feeling strong about it, you won't have to, and what do you think? Are we still going to be, struggling with division, animosity, and also lack of accountability by trying to make this utopia idea work? The other thing is that came up to me is around this whole Black Lives Matter slogan. It's been coming up too. And, I think we forgot the reason that these women came together to bring this forth. It was really because of the brutality against Black males in our communities, our sons, our nephews, our husbands, sometimes our grandfathers and so forth. It just added to the long extended sentences that was done with the criminal justice bill as well. And so it was a cry from our community. It was a cry for women, just like, please, Lord. We have seen people get, do horrific things, not even the ones that you see on the internet, and they are alive today. They're like, we always, making comments about people in jail getting better treatment, they going to college. Okay, that may be true for some jails, because every institute with a jail in it, you do know the governor determines how much money is going to go into the institutions that are in his cities and states. So I don't know why people are thinking that people in jail are coming out with college degrees like in Groves, because that's not true. But going back to the piece about Black Lives Matter, remembering what it was for and remembering why and so much, and then remember how it became such an international movement. And I would say even Black people got offended that it was called Black Lives Movement, and they were even saying it was all lives matter and things like that, as if like our everybody's situation, everybody's station in life was the exact same. Like my whole experience or Black people's experience was the exact same as every other nationality. So I have to respectfully just hear what people may say that is different than mine, but I don't have to agree with it, and I don't. But what I'm also saying with the Black Lives Matter slogan is that it's been attached to a lot of really terrible things. And it's almost like people are saying that, yeah, we see what happened, that when they became entitled, this is what they do, as if there is not a number of Black families and Black youth who are just doing wonderful things to contribute to the larger community. And I am not going to be the person who kind of uplifts that to show evidence that we're good and everything. That's not even going to happen with me. If you want to know, you would go seek it just like you seek everything else. But I'm just kind of like thinking about, moving away from this Black Lives Matter as if, the only contribution was to create an indulged, entitled group of Black people who, just want to take advantage of the civil rights movement all the way to this point. And obviously, we cannot change anybody's mind. And really, racism is reduced by one-to-one interactions, and we're finding that it is becoming, addressed in the most healthy and the most respectful ways. One is through a life of prayer. I go to church with many people of many denominations, and I enjoy the worship and I enjoy fellowshipping with them. So to conclude today's Friday Village Circle, just want you to think about, how do you think the all-inclusive mode is going, and what do you think about the Black Lives Matter slogan? Do you feel like in some ways people have started to use it to turn it against us? And I do mean us turning it against us too. So I'm not just talking about, a specific group. I'm talking about, do you think it is now used in a way that's derogatory and not in the way that it was birthed as a cry out for things to be addressed? All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great one. Take care. See you next Friday. Bye.